This film is from the World of Martial Arts series. In my understanding of Kung Fu is mainly an upper body technique driven martial art. And you're mainly doing punching and something like boxing and different blocks. And that's what Kung Fu is like, I think. And I've never actually taken any style of Kung Fu like Wing Chun or like just Kung Fu in general. I've never actually practiced. Well, I take that back. I've practiced different forms of Kung Fu and other martial arts that incorporated Kung Fu into their style of martial arts. However, I've never taken Kung Fu by itself in a martial art. So I've never completely focused on Kung Fu as a martial art. And I'd like to do that at some point. And the thing about Wing Chun is that it has a lot of strikes that are like groin strikes, and it has eye gouging and throat grabs, and they're just deadly strikes and deadly grabs and deadly gouges. And that's why it's so controversial to take Wing Chun, because some of it is actually illegal in MMA and UFC. Certain techniques, certain moves that you do in Wing Chun Kung Fu are not allowed in MMA and UFC. You're not allowed to use those techniques or those moves at all in MMA and UFC because they're brutal and deadly. So I don't know how you feel about that sort of martial arts, but some people would rather not learn those techniques because they don't want to kill anybody and they don't want to be held responsible for killing anybody. So they don't actually practice martial arts in that way to that degree. They actually focus on kicking and punching and maneuvers, joint locking, twisting, throwing, different techniques that aren't always ending in death. So they try not to kill anybody in the practice of martial arts on purpose. And that's how good you have to be at martial arts to know your own strength. And it's important to be able to fight somebody without actually killing them, because that's probably what you want to do every time. So there are a lot of different techniques that are deadly in the martial arts, and some people feel they want to know these different moves, these different maneuvers that are deadly in the martial arts. And as interesting as they may be, they kill people, so people don't want to use that type of strength on anyone because they don't want to kill people, because then they'd be responsible for someone else's death, and they could go to prison for it. And no one wants to go to prison for murder or anything like it. So keep that in mind when you're learning martial arts, that you want to learn techniques that aren't just deadly techniques. You want to learn techniques where you can fight someone without killing them.